Jeff, is the essential plan going to stay the same?
Yes, sir. So the essential plan is a zero premium, $5 to the doctor, $10 for a specialist. Hospital stay is a $50 per stay. It does not come with prescription drug coverage. So that's the thing with the essential plan. It's generally for our military guys, VA benefits. Robert, you got VA benefits, correct? So you can get your medicine through the VA. Because if you can do that, it's considered credible drug coverage. Those are the key words, credible drug coverage. So if you have that, you do not need to have an Advantage plan with a drug plan included. So Advantage plan looks, the only change that I see is it won't have the dental this year. Mary? It doesn't have the dental, the optional dental.
But the second part of the question is, if you wanted the plan, SHARP plan, if you wanted the drugs, the SHARP plan would be the better one.
Oh, so the follow-up question, I'll come to you, Mary, in a second. So the follow-up question is if you wanted to go with a plan that had drug coverage included, my favorite would probably be the SHARP plan, correct? Mary?
I didn't notice outpatient surgery on here.
Outpatient surgery.
Everything going to be inpatient?
Yeah, so the inpatient, the outpatient surgery is going to be the same. So whatever the per day is for the hospital stay, so if you had an outpatient surgery, so if inpatient was $260 a day, the outpatient would also be $260. Okay? Good question.
On the audiology, I'm just curious as to when you have hearing aids and you need follow-up now, do we go to the new people or do we go to SHARP or where do we go?
Good question. So with the hearing aids, here's kind of how the hearing aids work. We'll kind of go through that. We still got a few minutes? We're live? Okay. Good, I was going to tell a joke. But so with the hearing aids, here's kind of how that works. We go to Dr. Polinsky or North County Audiology, and we go ahead and get a complete and total hearing test. With that, they're going to send it in to United Healthcare called High Health Innovations, and they're going to send out a hearing aid that's programmed. But everybody's hearing is a little bit different. So now we take the hearing aid and we go back to Dr. Ken, and he goes ahead and he fine-tunes it for us. And it's a $35 fee to fine-tune, but it's well worth it. So when you walk out the door, that hearing aid's going to work. Has anybody gone through with Dr. Polinsky yet and got it all taken care of? He was out of town today. He'll be here tomorrow, but you're first one coming. I want to have feedback. So anybody that's going through this, call me. Let me know how it's working out. Better yet, send me an email, because everything's going electronic now. Yes? Got another question?
My question is about physical therapy, because that seems to be a big thing with hip replacements and knee replacements,
Yep.
and a lot of older people don't do it because of the cost.
Yep.
So I'd like to know with each of these 4 plans, what is the physical therapy cost?
Good question. So the physical therapy, and I looked through it, whatever the specialist fee is, we saw the specialist on there was $30, $35, some were $50. That's generally what the physical therapy is. It's considered a specialist visit. Before you leave today, if you wish, we do have enrollment kits here. It's what they call enrollment kits at all individual plans, whether it's a value plan, premier plan. And in here, it all has a detailed reports of all the different physical therapy, kind of the breakdown and all that. I didn't want to overwhelm you with too much in books and everything, but we have it here. So if you need it, we'll get a copy. You probably got sent a bunch of stuff already in the mail, right? And you go, oh my God, I got to read this? This is a lot better read. It's a little more concise. It's easy to read. So let's go over the prescription drug coverage. So in here, as we did last year, is our prescription drug coverage on your blue paper. And where is it? So the drugs are broke down to 5 different tier levels. 5 different tier levels. Tier 1 and 2 are your generics. And there wasn't a whole lot of change. The $3 went to $4. The $6 generics went to $8. So a couple bucks. Tier 3 and 4 stayed the same. Tier 1s and 2s are your generics. Tiers 3s and 4s are your brand name drugs. Tier 5 is your kidney anti-rejection specialty medicine. All right, so that's how it works on that.
Is there still a break for the 90 days?
There is. So what happens is with your plan, is if you use our mail order service called OptumRx out of Carlsbad, that you get a break on the drugs. So the generics, tiers 1s and 2s, you pay for 2 months, you get the third month free. On 3s and 4s, on the brand name drugs, is you triple the price and take $10 off. So they do give you a discount. It tends to be a lower price too. We're going to kind of go through this. Prescription drug coverage. In your Simplicity book, in this original book that we were looking at, I'm going to switch you around a little bit. Remember this Hello Clarity book? Remember that? Let's go all the way to the back. There's kind of an interesting page. It's page 14. I could still do it without my glasses. Page 14. We're going to talk about the drug coverage, the donut hole, the dreaded donut hole. And how many people are in the donut hole already? Yep. So I need a volunteer to come out. I want to have you to explain the dynamics of the coverage gap for 2014. Any volunteers? I never get anybody to do that. Okay. It's going to be a little bit different this year. This year is as important as any, that it's where you get your medicine from, because last year it was $2,970 before you ran into the donut hole. Well, it's less this year. Less money, which means we're going to hit it faster. So you see these different stages: initial coverage, coverage gap, and the catastrophic. Everybody see that? Okay. It's one thing to read it on paper, but I want you to understand it because it's important that you know how this stuff works so you don't get caught in it this year. This year, our initial coverage, you're going to start with $2,850. What does that really mean? Basically, it's an allowance that the government gives you to spend on your medicine. So let's say you have a Tier 3 level medicine, and a Tier 3 level medicine, as you can see, is a $45 copay. So when you go to the pharmacy, you pay a $45 copay. But the actual cost of that medicine is a lot more than that. So United Healthcare picks in $255 for a total cost of that medicine was $300. So let's look at it again. You paid $45. United Healthcare paid $255 for a total of $300. It gets deducted from your allowance. So you start with $2,850 minus $300 minus $300. Let's go to the next month. You paid $45, but instead of going to Costco or Walmart, you just went to the local CVS. I'm not picking on CVS, I'm just using an example. So you went to CVS, but the actual cost of that medicine was a little bit more. So what added up is taking $320 came out of your allowance. You didn't even realize because all you saw was the $45 when you went to pay for your prescriptions. That's what you paid for. You paid the $45. But it's the cost of the medicine is what's deducted from your allowance. So it is vitally important that you know where you're getting your prescriptions from, how much it's going to cost, because that depends on how long your allowance is going to last. How do you find out? Good question. They send these sheets out from OptumRx. It says your stage 1, stage 2, and it tells you these numbers. They're telling you that, you spent this, the drug company paid that, and here's the total cost of your medicine. A lot of times I said, well, go to the local pharmacy and ask them, and they don't know. They don't know. So what I have you do is I have a pharmacy helpline. Get your prescriptions, call the pharmacy helpline, and find out what that charge is. Many times they'll tell you that, but sometimes they don't know. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
So once we do this, $300, $300 to $320, it's going to take about 10 months, and we're going to be, boom. We're going to be about right now, where a lot of people are. About October, month number 10, guess what? We ran out of our allowance. Now what? So now we move over to the next stage, which is called your coverage gap, also known as a donut hole. Now last year I couldn't say the word donut hole. It was against all these regulations. But if you said donut hole, then I'd say, oh, okay, that's a donut hole. But since they printed it on there and called it the donut hole, I get to call it donut hole this year. So I'm pretty excited about that. Okay, so here's what changes. Here's what changes when you're in this coverage gap in the middle. Remember, our out-of-pocket was $45. You paid $255 for total drug cost of $300. In this stage, in the coverage gap, the only thing that matters is this column right here, out-of-pocket expense. So we'll go ahead and run it. So here's what happens is, in the coverage gap, instead of you paying $45, you're going to pay 47.5% of that $300, which is $142.50. So when you go to the pharmacy and they go, oh, it'll be $142.50 when you've been paying $45 every month, and you go, oh my God, what is going on? That's when I get my phone call and I said, I wonder if you're not happen to be in the coverage gap right now. So what happens is, the difference is you pay 47.5% of the $300. That equates to $142. But they count your out-of-pocket column with the full $300. You didn't actually pay $300. You paid $142.50. So the next month you do it again. $300 to $142.50. Another $300 gets added to your out-of-pocket column. But the next month, you remember you went to CVS? And the CVS, they charge more for their drugs. They charge $320. So your 47.5% is $152 is what you had to pay. And they credit your column with $320. When this column, your out-of-pocket column, adds up to $4,550, you then move over to the catastrophic level. That's stage 3. Now the catastrophic level, you think, oh my God, I'm in catastrophic. Well, this is the catastrophic level, is that middle one, that coverage gap, that donut hole, because that's where the expensive part is. When you get to catastrophic, remember that $300 drug cost? The government's going to pay for 95% of the bill. Well, of $285, you'll pay 5% or $15 for that same drug. That's your catastrophic. It's that middle one that's really, really rough. That's where it's really expensive. And a lot of people fall into that around October, November, December, and sometimes we're coming down to the point where we're trying to decide, are we going to have food or are we going to have my medicine? Because I can't afford both. So if we're in a tight situation like that, on page 15 of this, right next door, page 15, there's all kinds of help, numbers to call, financial assistance. You know what? If we're down to that, raise your hand, ask for help. Give me a call, let me know what's going on. I'll get on the phone with you, we'll do a 3-way call, I'll call all these people and we'll help you out, all right? So when we're into that kind of a situation, it's also vitally important to know where you're getting your medicine from, how much of the cost of it is, and general rule is, if you can get it through Prescription Solutions, Optum Rx, if you can get it through our mail order, you'll tend to have the best price. They tend to... Was that me? Did I just blow up?
Any blood?
Did I just get shot? Okay. I'm not going to move. They got me all wired up here. I got one mic for the... oh, thanks. Sound effects. I got one mic for the camera. I got another mic for DJ Rob over here. Everybody know DJ Rob? He runs like every dance and studio. This guy's, he's also my neighbor. So I need help. I call DJ Rob. I say, Rob, I need your help. So bless his heart.
Can I ask you, who thought up 47.5%? It couldn't be 45, it couldn't be 50.
That's a good question. Where do they get this stuff from? All our congressmen are back there working hard, and bless their hearts. You know, I could fix this government shutdown in about 10 minutes. Tell all the congressmen and the senators, you don't make another dime till this thing is fixed. Yeah, there's my honorary mayor.
Why avoid real politics?
Yeah, I brought him in tonight in case I get a parking ticket, I know where to go get it fixed. Okay, where are we at? Let's go to the checklist. Good question, good thing. Okay, one of the last things you have here is called Jeff's checklist. Now, I got all these things I had to cover. I don't know if I covered them or not, because I'm just sitting here talking. So let's go through them to make sure I got it done right. Everybody have that? Jeff's checklist. Question number 1. What is step therapy? In your booklet, in your Clarity booklet. Hello, Clarity. Everybody see that? Go to page 13. A lot of the answers are on page 13. Hello, Clarity booklet, page 13. These are all things that Medicare each year has certain things that they want to make sure that we go over, that we cover. Step therapy. So step therapy works as if before you go to the high-priced, expensive drug, they may start you off on a lower priced and see if that works for you. And then if that doesn't work, then we'll take the next step, and then we'll take the next step. It's called step therapy. So if you want to find more about it, you can look at it on page 13 in your book. Okay, where to find information about requesting exceptions to the plan formulary. Happens a lot. I have this drug, it's not in your formulary, and in your formulary you'll be able to find it in your kits because there's 3,600 medicines that are listed in here, and you can look it up. Is it tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Well, sometimes you get a drug that's not listed. What am I going to do? Go to your doctor, he'll ask for an exception. So they'll go to OptumRx, they'll see if they'll accept it, and they'll approve it. If you get the exception, they'll charge you at the tier 4 level rate. Tier 4 level, which is what, $95? So it's also for the, I have a question that comes up all the time about the chicken pox. What do they call that? The shingles? The shingles shot. Do you guys pay for it? Yes, it's a tier 4 level medicine. It's $95 for that. Okay? Okay, number 3. Did we explain the star ratings? Star ratings. Everything is based on star ratings, okay? So if you have 3 stars versus 4 stars versus 5 stars, the funding that they give you from Medicare depends on how the star rating is. So what is a star rating and how do you get, how do they rate it? One of the things is that people don't realize is based on you. It's based on how you use the services. If you go in and you get your annual physical and you get your cancer screening and the breast screening and all that, that helps our star ratings. So come to think of it, huh? You go, well, I'm a great customer because I never use the services. Well, you actually hurt our star ratings by not using the services. These services are free. Go in and use them. I mean, I looked at it too and I said, well, I'm not sick. I don't want to be going in and taking the doctor's time up because he has to treat sick people. So I don't want to take his time up. But actually, star rating is based off of how you use the services. And it's also in our enrollment kit. You'll find out more about it. Did you state the form used in your contact are clearly optional? Okay, remember that first sheet that I was going to have you fill out? Help me, help you. Remember that? Here it is. Terrific. Thank you. Help me, help you sheet, okay? This is just something I put together. And if you want to hear from me, great. Put in your information. That way, I'll get these sheets, leave them on your table. I'll pick them up after everybody leaves. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down. I'm going to call every single one of you. We're going to look at your individual plan, and we're going to set an appointment over the next 7 weeks so I get you all taken care of. I'm going to have a group today, and I've got another one coming in tomorrow. But this is going to set my agenda for the next 7 weeks. So if we could talk on the phone and review your plan, great. If we need to sit down face-to-face, whatever we need to do. Because I'm here to get this thing done for you. So I had to point out it was optional. I'm not going to have Guido chase you to the car if you don't fill it out. So just to let you know. All right, what's next? Did I review the process for obtaining prior authorization for services? Generally, if you go to the doctor and you need an MRI or a CAT scan or something expensive, the doctor will need to go to United Healthcare and get prior approval. So it's pretty simple. It's usually 2 or 3 days, so it's taken care of. So did I explain that most people who enroll in Advantage plans pay their Part B premium? Yes. So the Part A and Part B of original Medicare, Part A is free as long as you work 10 years in this country. Part B is something you'll pay for every month the rest of your life. So you'll pay that every month. It's also, each year they can change the price a little bit. This year it's $104.90. Generally, they come out with what they call a cost of living increase. For some reason, it comes out just before the elections. They announce a cost of living increase. Then they have the elections, and then they tell you how much more your Part B premium is going to be and how much they're going to take away from you. So anyway, timing is everything. All right, what's next? Did I present prescription drug plans in detail? I don't know. What do you think? We learned a little bit more about them? No, okay, good. Was it clear that Advantage Plan members must use providers except in emergency situations? So, use your primary doctor. The primary doctor has a network of specialists to choose from. Unless it's an emergency, unless you're traveling, remember, the 3 services that are worldwide: urgent care, emergency ambulance, worldwide coverage. All right, so only in emergency services use that. Otherwise, if you're going to your sharp doctor, excuse me, and decide, hey, I think I want to go to UCSD and go see a doctor over there, you certainly can do that, but it's on your dollar. All right? What's next? Did I explain about the late enrollment penalty? Page 13, late enrollment penalty has to do with your Part D drug premium. Yes, sir?
Your page 13 is about prescription. It doesn't really relate to anything you're saying. I don't know what book you're looking at.
Here, have my book. Mine has page 13 on it.
That's prescription.
Well, it has to do with a little bit of everything, so it's kind of an information page. So late enrollment, so you get a drug coverage when you need it, otherwise they're going to penalize you. That's kind of the bottom line. Last thing, did I explain about the nurse line? Thank you. Nurse line. On the back of your United Healthcare card, there's 2 phone numbers: customer service number and a nurse line number. So the nurse line's a registered nurse 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, wherever you're at. So you wake up 2 in the morning and something isn't working right, call the nurse line. You're not going to get a hold of your doctor. You don't want to sit in an emergency room. Call the nurse line. They can pull it up on the screen. They can tell you maybe you got a new medicine that isn't reacting right. Maybe they'll send you an ambulance, or maybe they'll tell you to drink a warm glass of milk and go home. What if you're traveling? What if you're in Timbuktu, Tennessee, and you step in a hole and twist your ankle? You need to know where the nearest urgent care is. Call the nurse line. Call the nurse line. 800 number. It's always there. It's on the back of your card. Those are 2 numbers that you need to know. Is that it? Did I cover everything? Questions? We'll take a few questions. Scream it out here.
I'm just wondering, does Medicare have anything to do with approved prescriptions from United Healthcare? In other words, United Healthcare is Medicare.
Good question. What happens is, does Medicare approve the drugs, United Healthcare? Pretty much when you're on an Advantage plan, United Healthcare is your primary insurance. So they're the ones that deal with the drugs. So really, Medicare kind of takes it and says, here, United, you handle it. You're in charge of their health care. So that's where that is. Another question. Ken Reinach? Ken Reinach is our Weary Traveler Award. He drove all the way down from Orange County to be here with us today. Ken, what can I do for you?
First, I wanted to say how lucky we all are to have a guy like Jeff to be our representative.
I did not pay him to say that.
It's important to point out that my mom and dad worked with Jeff for many, many years. They lived in the Lawrence Welk Village. My dad passed away 9 years ago at 91. My mom is still going strong at 97. Last year moved in with my sister in Chicago, so now it's my turn to visit. But Jeff took such wonderful, wonderful care of them. I believe he extended their lives because of the quality of his care. And because of that, I, of course, will only work with Jeff and drive down here to see him, and happy to do so, and have referred many of my friends to him as well. And I want to point that out. I think you're a very special guy.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My question.
Okay.
Still.
But on the other hand,
yeah,
here comes the almighty but.
No, Jeff. Right. You know, it may be only unique to me, but you know, I have 3 daughters. I just signed up for Medicare myself, and for Secure Horizons, as I used to call it, United Healthcare with Jeff and all. But I have 3 daughters, 19, 21, and 24, and they're still on my old Anthem Blue Cross. And so I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, you know, what's going to be the right plan for me to put them into? When do I find out the facts of those plans? And how do I pick what plans I should put them into?
So here's the answer to your question. And I wish I was registered and put it on the site, but this Obamacare is going to kick in. Well, here's what happens. You go on to coveredcalifornia.com, coveredca.com. You say, well, I'm a 25-year-old female. I make 20 grand a year, and hit the button, and it comes up, and it says, okay, here's the different insurance companies you can choose from. You have Anthem, you have Blue Shield, you have Sharp, you have Kaiser, you have different ones that you can choose from. And then there's different kinds of plans to choose from. Platinum, gold, silver, bronze. The platinum is going to be the most expensive, but the most comprehensive. The bronze will be the cheapest, but it has, you know, it's basically catastrophic coverage. So with that, and what we've been waiting for, Ken, is I kind of wanted the dust to settle. You hear all the problems that they're having right now. So let the dust settle. We'll sit down and we'll talk about it. We'll go through the different numbers and decide what plan's right. It really comes down to age and income. Age and income. Another question.
Would you go through the shingles? Where do you get it for $90?
Yeah, $95. It's a tier 5 level medicine. So if you're with Sharp, Sharp will only charge you the $95. They tend to have the shingles shot on right there at the facility. If you're with Scripps or Scripps Coastal, they're a little bit different. So what happens is they will charge you the full $255, $60, whatever it is. And then there's a form that we get from Optum Rx to get reimbursed the money from the $260 down to the $95. It's a reimbursement form. There's a helpline to call Optum Rx. If you let me know, I'll give you that number to call them. They have a form. I've filled one out before. You just check it off. You send it in. They'll fire you a check back. So.
I may need a power chair or that. I found something in the book that they sent. They're going to eliminate the 13-month payment, and then is that going to continue or not?
13-month payment for your power chair?
Yeah, power chair, wheelchair,
Good
medical,
question.
something or the other.
Generally, the power chair is handled through the durable medical equipment, through your primary doctor. And how their payment goes for that, I'm not 100% sure, but I can certainly check in it for you. If you would write that question on the little sheet and leave that for me, I'll make sure when I follow up with you, I'll have the answer for it. Okay? Hi, question back here? Isn't Madison doing a good job? She's my school teacher. She's my school teacher. She went to school to be a school teacher, and then she gets out, and all she can do is get these substitute teaching jobs. So if anybody out there is a principal and you need a good teacher, right, I've got somebody for you. All right, what's your question?
I just want to know if you're staying with the same plan you've had this year.
Good question.
Do you have to fill out a
Good question. If you do absolutely nothing, your plan will automatically roll into next year. So if you're stuck with me this year as your agent, you'll be stuck with me next year for your agent, okay? And if you have a plan that's working well for you, just stay with it. You don't have to do a thing. You don't have to fill anything out. So one of the things I worry about this time of year is you come to this meeting and then you go to another meeting and another meeting and they hear this, they hear that. And so that's why I had these buttons made up. Who's got a button on? It says, I'm with Jeff. All right, so when you go to the meetings, wear your button with pride. Tell them, look, I'm already with Jeff. All right? I don't need your services. All right? Good. Next question.
I have a question about the shingles.
Yes.
I'm sure I never paid $95 for that a couple of years back.
Yep, it's probably changed. So currently it's $95.
And how often do you have to get a shingles shot?
I think it's once in a lifetime, right? Yep. Yep, and it's worth it because I know people have had it, and they would pay $1,095 if they could get rid of it. I'll come back to you.
Jeff, if you have an ointment that requires a prescription, topical ointment,
yep.
No insurance is paid on them at all. Is that subject to change, maybe, or?
Yeah, sometimes you get these one-time. You get a bad cold and you get some 5 or 7 day, antibiotic. Those things aren't covered. Just pay out of pocket on those. So. Yeah, if it's something that's prescription, it should be covered. And if it isn't, you can ask for an exception and they'll cover it that way. But, it really comes down to the price of this medicine. So we'll get a couple more questions and we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I know people got things to do. Let me get a question there. I'll come back to you next. You don't have to make her stand up. Boy, you're hard.
I just wanted to know if you had surgery, like if you had a knee replacement or something, and then you were sent to an aftercare place for like a week or two.
Yep.
How is that covered?
Good. So what happens is, the question is, what happens if you go to a skilled nursing center? Is that covered? And in previous year, it was $50 a day. This year, it's a little bit different. It's $25 the first 20 days, and then the number pops up from there. It'll be listed in your enrollment kit, so you guys want to leave with today. Other question? One more question, then we're going to wrap this up.
Just wondering if United Healthcare is on the stock market.
Is United Healthcare in the stock market? It is actually the last company to be added to the S&P 500. It's actually one of the Dow Jones Industrial 30 stocks. And I hear their stock's doing pretty well. What's it, like $74 a share? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I know we ran a little long today. I thank you very much. Thank you for coming out. Hope you enjoy your evening.